He may yet become a target of his own people. Whatever his fate may be, I, for one, will not weep for him.
The question is not whether Israel will react, but when and how.
Kia ora, good evening. I'm Joanna Paul and this is Nightline. Tonight, Iraq pushes Israel too far. Death and destruction in residential Tel Aviv has the government calling a council of war. Washington scrambles to shore up the political damage done by the Scud missiles. And against the odds, a Kiwi mother with children returns to the danger zone. Thanks for joining us. As the Gulf War moves into its second week, Israel is poised to make its first move. The Iraqi reign of terror, which today sent another Scud missile into Tel Aviv, is the subject of an emergency meeting tonight between the Israeli cabinet and its military command. 3 people died in the latest attack. That's 3 too many for a country close to the edge.
Israel tonight is considering its response after the worst missile attack yet. At least 3 people are dead, possibly more, and around 70 are injured. The missile wiped out 3 residential blocks. It got past the Patriot missiles launched for the first time in defense of Israel. The question of Israel's response is not if, but when.
This is a country that will not be broken by missiles. It will not be broken by terror. It has the resolve and the coolness of judgment to act as it sees appropriate and fit to remove this menace, and we shall remove it.
But the Americans are still doing their best to keep Israel out of the war. The missile attacks on eastern Saudi Arabia continued early today. US missiles destroyed at least 4 during 2 alerts. The American military tested for chemical warheads and claimed hits against every Scud fired at Saudi Arabia today. Could become a target.
That he may yet become a target of his own people. And whatever his fate may be, I, for one, will not weep for him.
And the British Parliament voted heavily in favour of the government's role in the war. In the air assault against Iraq, the Allied forces have now flown more than 10,000 missions. But the US military are not sure of the effects on their targets. It's difficult to claim air superiority while the Iraqi Air Force is safe in reinforced bunkers, and the British are concerned that they're taking disproportionately high losses among their low-flying Tornado bombers. Max Hayton, 3 National News.
Once again, Iraq has been the subject of international condemnation today. British Prime Minister John Major called the Tel Aviv bombing utterly repugnant. Spain said it was a new provocation. Italy expelled another 10 Iraqi diplomats, and our Prime Minister said the Scud bombing was cowardly. There was also widespread praise for Israel's continued restraint, although no one seems to expect it'll last much longer.
For all the waiting, when the missile fell, it took Israelis by surprise. It smashed into a residential suburb. 3 dead, all elderly people dying from heart attacks, 70 wounded. Infants and children among them, hit by flying debris and glass while cowering in rooms sealed tight against gas walls. Falling wall buried this child.
All the house was exploded. We couldn't see anything. We couldn't hear each other. It was terrible.
My parents are buried, he tells rescue workers. Later, after frantic digging, they were rescued. With this 3rd Scud missile attack, the call here is for revenge. Not just surgical strikes against Scud missile launchers, but to pay the Iraqis back in kind with an attack on their capital, Baghdad.